Greetings, fellow degenerates. My name is Rot, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hi, hello, howdy-o, nice to have you here. Glad to see you, thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I wanted to cover a subject that I haven't really seen many people talk about, and that I've been asked about my opinions on before. Considering how many people seem to like my previous video on the topic of NSFW and how much I like making more opinionated content, I figured, hey, why not? Might as well throw my 2 cents out there, being that I have had some personal experiences being both the subject of NSFW and also the creator of it. Assuming that you've probably already read the title, yep, this video is going to be about NSFW art of real people and my take on it. Because of the subject matter, this video is not intended for kids or directed towards them, and you should probably just click off if you are one. I've seen this topic spoken about before, but I feel like most people tend to just focus on the impact of shipping creators together specifically and the ethics of that. I wanted this video to be about the ethical concerns and very real impact that explicit NSFW work specifically can have on creators and their mental health, their comfort, and their lives. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about NSFW work specifically and not necessarily shipping. So just like in my previous video about NSFW, I want to note that I'm going to be using NSFW R18 and R34 interchangeably throughout this video to all mean the same thing. They will all mean content that is explicit and should only be viewed by persons 18 years or older. I have to use these terms because the YouTube gods would smite my trans ass right off this earth if I even so much as attempted to use the other term that means 18+ material. You know, the one that starts with a P. I am well aware that NSFW, like not safe for work as a term, can mean many different things, like suggestive work, gore art, or even something as innocuous as weapons like firearms, but I am using it specifically in this video to mean explicit art of the 18+ variety. Just keep that in mind as you watch. But just before we get into everything, I want to remind everyone that I have commission slots open and am available for commissions. My comm terms and my prices and where to contact me are listed in the card in the description below, so if you're interested in ordering a commission from me, then make sure to check it out. Besides that, if you'd like to support me, I also have a Ko-Fi page where you can either make a one-time donation or become a member for some extra perks. If you're able to support me financially, that would be greatly appreciated. However, if you can't donate, then that's fine. You can also support me by simply watching to the end of this video, which is also greatly appreciated. Now, to begin, one of the most important things to establish here is my own personal mindset regarding creating R18 art and writing. I am a very pro-art and creativity person, and I believe that people should have the right to create whatever they want as long as whatever they're making is within the boundaries of the law wherever they live. I am an incredibly sex-positive and kink-positive person, and I have never been afraid to broach uncomfortable topics in my artwork and creations. As long as your interests don't break the law or hurt a living being without consent, I don't have any moral issue with it. I may not like it, or just find it gross, but I'm not the type to harass people, or bully people, or shame anyone over a difference in opinion. Because of my views, people have called me a pro-shipper in the past, but I'm not one. If you want to know where I stand, I think antis are a bunch of pearl-clutching Puritan Karens who like to harass and cancel, and pro-shitters are a bunch of creepy weirdos who let way too much slide and allow the worst of the worst kinds of people into their community. Both sides are stupid and shallow, and I don't really identify with either. I felt like it was important to explain that I'm a sex-positive person because many people who discuss topics like this tend to have a very icky ew mentality in view of NSFW artists and NSFW art in general. So many people like to say thing bad without any nuance because they're averse to fetish and kink content as a whole. And while being uncomfortable with or disliking R18 content is fine and valid, I don't like how many people condemn others interested in it for being quote-unquote pervs or something over a difference in opinion. So rest assured, I'm not here to do that today. As someone who writes and draws content of the NSFW variety, I want to be a bit more fair and understanding in my critiques. With that being said, my overall take on not safe for work of real people, notably online creators, is if the creator is an adult and has said that they're okay with NSFW being drawn of them, that is the only time that it is completely fine to draw NSFW of them. However, if the creator is a minor, then it is not okay to make lewds of them or for them, even if they have asked for it because they are a child and thus can't consent. It is also, in my opinion, immoral and not okay to draw NSFW of adult creators that have either stipulated that they are uncomfortable with such content being drawn for them, or if they have not made their opinions on the subject known and thus have not consented. So with that opinion of mine out of the way, allow me to elaborate on exactly why I feel the way that I do about each of these scenarios, starting with the case of minor creators. Child celebrities have been a thing for a long time and have their own set of ethical concerns, yes, but only in recent years has it become accessible for many children to get a large platform at a very young age. Think of the DA ranting in animation meme communities a few years ago, and how many of the people who were at the top of the totem pole were minors with a lot of influence, some as young as 11. In much larger and more well-known spaces, such as the Minecraft YouTube sphere, minors have made their places in the community there as well. Some examples being TommyInnit, Boffy, and Tubbo, who all started making content and garnered a large audience as 15 or 16-year-olds. As a byproduct of the publicity of these minors, many people have made suggestive and ship art and just flat-out R34 art and fanfiction of actual children, especially TommyInnit from what I've heard about and unfortunately seen. People drawing and writing about him getting boinked by his adult friends have unfortunately been plentiful. Yuck. In my personal opinion, though it is not illegal in every state or in every country unfortunately, I think that drawn or written underage R18 content is, well, content of the FBI open-up variety. It's gross and it shouldn't be allowed. People should not be allowed to draw or write about minors in lewd positions or scenarios when that content is purposely meant to titillate the viewer. It's just not okay, plain and simple. And even if you're gonna hit me with that, it's just fiction argument to excuse content of that nature. NSFW art and writing of real minors is just that, lewding and sexualizing real children that do exist. This can affect and impact those people very negatively, which is extra concerning considering that they're children and are already facing scrutiny in general due to their platform and publicity. Now, on the subject of child artist creators who have characters/OCs that are 18 plus in age, I also think that people should avoid drawing or writing R34 of those characters. My reasoning is that even if the OC is an adult and drawing art of it is not directly lewding a minor, you are still drawing NSFW content for the minor creator in question, and that's just not okay. And actually even illegal if you're directly sending it to them. Just please, I beg of you, leave kid creators out of NSFW in general. I don't care if they ask for it, they're still children. Moving on to my opinion about NSFW of adult creators, my opinion is a little bit more lenient, and I'm not as fervently against it. You see, many adult creators, including myself, more on this later, are completely okay with having themselves or their persona characters looted. Hell, in certain communities like the VTuber and furry streamer communities, from what I understand anyway, getting NSFW drawn of your persona is considered a milestone or an achievement. Similarly, many adult YouTubers, artists, streamers, and creators in general either don't mind or are otherwise ecstatic to see NSFW of their OCs or their persona. That's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with you as an adult wanting to see other adults draw lewds of your persona, and there's nothing wrong or weird about being an adult and drawing them for another adult who wants them. Admittedly, I'm a bit tired of hearing people call NSFW artists freaks and weirdos for drawing creators that have consented to being drawn that way, like, bruh. That's cool and I support it. Pop off, kings, queens, monarchs, whatever. Do what you want and have fun with the consent of other adults, it's your business. However, where I do have an issue is when artists do not ask creators or actively go against the wishes of those creators to draw R34 of them. Seeing not safe for work of yourself when you have either not been asked if that's okay, or if you have asked people not to draw that kind of stuff is incredibly uncomfortable and violating. I have seen certain creators speak up on Twitter, when I still use the platform, before about being harassed with NSFW art of themselves, or otherwise having their wishes just violated. This is just gross behavior, guys. If someone requests to be left out of NSFW art, then their wishes should be respected. If you don't know if you can draw a creator in a lewd or suggestive way, reach out and ask them instead of just going for it. It's not difficult to just ask politely or respect boundaries. I'm really tired of the whole "that's just how it is" mindset when it comes to real people in NSFW art and writing. Though Rule 34 of the internet applies fine to fictional adult characters, people need to stop using it to justify violating the boundaries of real people. You can very well control what you pop a squat and spend hours on drawing. You can refrain from looting someone who doesn't need to be looted. It's not that hard. Just draw a different adult creator who's fine with it, or an adult fictional character. Like, come on guys, it's not difficult to not be a douche. I also understand that some people commission NSFW artists to draw certain creators and might even lie about said creators being okay with it when they're not, but if you're an NSFW artist, please make sure that the creator you're being commissioned to draw has consented. Double check and make sure what you're doing is okay, please, I beg of you. Now, I want to talk about why I decided to make this video, really. I wanted to wrap up this whole topic discussing my own personal experience having my persona looted when I did not give consent. A few months ago, at the beginning of the year when my channel was growing fast, I made a personal boundaries video in which I politely requested that people not draw NSFW of my persona at the time, which was my old persona. My reasoning was because I was afraid of minors stumbling across NSFW art of me if, say, someone were to post it on Twitter and @ me, for example. At the time, I was admittedly a bit more of a kid-friendly channel than I am now, I would say, so I was a little bit more concerned about minors being jump-scared by bad, gross shit that they didn't want to or need to see. Also, on the Toy House profile of my Sona back then, though it's been changed now, I directly requested that people not draw NSFW of my Sona. I said this both in a video and on the character profile of my Sona, just so people would know. However, two different artists violated my wishes and drew R34 of me regardless. Luckily, neither of them ever tagged me or tried to post it publicly in relation to me, like they never tried to @ me or anything, but I did end up stumbling across it. Now, don't go and look for these artists to harass them or anything stupid like that. I don't want that. At the time, I wasn't really upset with the first artist, more just taken aback and miffed. I even retweeted it on my NSFW Twitter, which is no longer up by the way, and acted kind of cool about it. Even though the image didn't make me uncomfortable within itself, I was uncomfortable that I was never asked about whether or not it was okay to draw me like that, or worse, the artist saw that I requested people not to draw me like that and did so to spite me. If I remember correctly, it was also a commission, so it might have been that the commissioner saw that I said not to draw NSFW of me and then just commissioned it. I simply acted okay with it at the time as a way to almost gain the power back in the situation. The second piece of art, however, made me extremely uncomfortable and upset. You see, I have intense tocophobia and find pregnancy, childbirth, and anything associated with it to be disgusting and revolting. I am perturbed by it to an intense degree, thus when I saw that someone drew me lactating, I was really upset and disgusted. Again, don't harass the artists if you manage to find out who they are. Not only did the tocophobia hit me like a truck, but I have now recently transitioned if you saw my most recent video, and in retrospect I think that the image also caused me a bit of gender dysphoria. With that experience under my belt, I understand exactly how violating it feels to have such art made of you without your consent and permission, and that is why I'm strongly and heavily against breaking the boundaries that others have set out. So, where do I stand currently with NSFW art being created of my current Sona, Rot? Well, boys, you see, I actually don't mind at all, and I think that it's fine. My Sona has recently gotten a bit of a redesign, you can see it up on the screen, and he's now AMAB with AMAB anatomy. If you want to draw him, the full uncensored reference of him is on his Toy House, and it can be viewed even without a Toy House account. I marked it with a nudity filter, but left out the sexual content filter so people can see it. Also, there's a cropped version I uploaded as well that only shows the clothed side if you want to draw fan art and are either a kid or just don't want to see the nudity. As long as you're an adult, you can draw my Sona being sexy to your heart's content, I don't care. Just remember, he's male, has male anatomy, but is gender non-conforming and can be drawn in girly outfits. Go wild, boys. Oh, and just so you know, he's a top. Just like me. Thank you all for watching this sort of kind of ranty video. I've had this subject on my mind for a hot moment, like a few months, and I just wanted to get my thoughts about it off of my chest. I haven't really seen anyone talk about it in a more nuanced and calm way, though if anyone has, feel free to mention them in their video in the comments or wherever they talked about it. I hope you all enjoyed your stay here, and if you want to see more opinionated content from me, let me know in the comments as well. Rate and subscribe if you feel so inclined if you want to see my art outside of my videos, or if you want to order a comm or support me. The links to all of my socials can be found in the card down below in the description. I hope you all have a nice rest of your day, and I will now bid you all adieu.